The 1990s, an era that seems both recent and like an entirely different world. It was a time when childhood was filled with adventure, risk, and let's be honest, a fair bit of recklessness. The world was different back then, and many things that were once seen as just harmless fun are now completely illegal. Whether it was questionable safety practices, daredevil stunts, or playing with things that had no business being in kids' hands, it was a time of pushing limits. So, let's take a look into some of the most dangerous, wild, and now totally illegal things we used to do in the 90s. First up, we have road sledding. Winter in the 90s meant one thing: grabbing a sled, tying it to the back of a moving car, and holding on for dear life. It was an adrenaline-pumping thrill as the driver sped down icy streets while you clung to the sled tied to the back, narrowly dodging parked cars and potholes. Speeding at 30 to 45 miles per hour on the ice felt like a scene out of an action movie, until of course you hit a bump and went flying. This was all fun and games until serious injuries became too common. Broken bones, concussions, and even fatalities led states to crack down on this dangerous pastime. Today, in most places, vehicle towing of a person on a sled is considered reckless endangerment and is illegal under road safety laws. Several states, including Minnesota and Wisconsin, passed explicit bans on the practice in the early 2000s due to the rise in accidents. Next up, we have firecrackers and fireworks. Playing with fireworks was a rite of passage for many kids in the 90s. Whether it was lighting bottle rockets, tossing firecrackers into the street, or launching Roman candles at each other like some real-life video game, it was dangerous fun. No 4th of July was complete without at least one close call involving sparklers and something catching on fire. Over time, the number of injuries, especially among children, became too significant to ignore. Between burns, eye injuries, and property damage, new regulations were put in place. Today, consumer fireworks are banned or heavily restricted in several states, including Massachusetts, Illinois, and Ohio. Even states that allow fireworks have laws limiting their sale and use, with strict safety measures now in place. And who could forget riding in the back of a station wagon without seat belts? Where the road was our playground. No seat belts meant we could slide around, create blanket forts, or simply nap during long family trips. And if the car was packed, some parents didn't hesitate to sit the kids in the trunk space of an SUV. Who needed seat belts back then, right? But times have changed. Today, not using a seatbelt is not just dangerous, it's illegal. Back in the 90s, seatbelt laws were a bit of a mixed bag, with different rules from state to state. Some states required front seat passengers to buckle up, while others didn't enforce it for back seat passengers. Over time, though, all 50 states passed mandatory seatbelt laws for everyone in the car, regardless of age or seat position. By the early 2000s, enforcement became stricter, and the penalties for skipping the seatbelt became more severe, marking the end of those carefree days of riding in the back of a car without a second thought for safety. And who could forget hooky bobbing? Also known as car surfing on ice, it was a dangerous winter pastime for kids in the 90s. The kids would wait behind snowbanks at intersections, then grab the bumper of a car as it stopped. Once they had a hold, the car would take off, dragging them across icy streets. The ride was unpredictable, with speeds varying from slow and steady to dangerously fast. While it might have seemed like harmless fun at the time, the risks were substantial. Many kids were injured when they lost their grip, slid into obstacles, or fell into traffic. The cold weather added another layer of danger, making injuries more severe. Despite the obvious risks, some kids continued to take part in hooky bobbing, drawn by the thrill of the ride. By the late 90s, the rising number of accidents led states like Alaska, North Dakota, and Michigan to pass laws specifically banning the practice, labeling it as reckless endangerment. The laws aim to protect kids from the dangers of hooky bobbing, which was deemed far too risky for any level of fun. Next up, we have lawn darts, or jarts, which seemed like the perfect backyard game at first, a fun competitive activity where kids tossed heavy, pointed darts into a target ring on the grass. But there was one big problem. Those metal-tipped darts were essentially miniature spears, and when thrown at high speeds, they became dangerous projectiles. The fun quickly turned fatal, and by 1988, reports of serious injuries, including skull fractures and puncture wounds, led to the game being banned in the US. But in the 90s, many households still had them, and kids continued to play, often unaware of the risks. It wasn't until the mid-90s that federal laws took action, banning the sale and distribution of jarts nationwide. This marked the end of the dangerous backyard game, turning what was once a beloved activity into a reminder of how childhood fun sometimes crossed the line into danger. Now, in the 90s, many of us spent hours exploring abandoned factories, houses, and warehouses, places that offered a sense of adventure and discovery. These spots became secret worlds where the thrill of entering off-limits areas was a big part of the experience. Whether it was climbing through broken windows or finding hidden rooms, it was a way to escape the ordinary and experience something exciting. However, looking back at it now, abandoned buildings are often structurally unstable, with decaying floors, exposed wiring, and hazardous materials like asbestos and mold. What might have seemed like innocent fun in the past was actually quite dangerous. Today, exploring abandoned properties is illegal because it constitutes trespassing, which became a more strictly enforced offense in the 2000s. With increasing awareness of safety hazards, municipalities began tightening laws regarding access to these properties. Urban exploration, once seen as a hobby, led to a surge in regulations and laws designed to protect the public from potential injuries and to address issues such as vandalism and liability concerns for property owners. Another one from the 90s is using old truck tires to roll down highways and steep hills. On hot summer days, we'd search for the largest, most durable tire, climb in, and get pushed down the road, laughing all the way as the world blurred around us. The excitement was unmatched as we felt the rush of speed and the wind in our faces, all while gripping onto the tire for dear life. However, what seemed like harmless fun was actually quite dangerous. Kids risked serious injury from the speed, the tire's unpredictable movement, and the potential for accidents with passing cars. Over time, as the dangers became clear, many states introduced laws to prohibit this activity, considering it reckless endangerment. Today, it's illegal in most parts of the US, a reminder of how safety standards have evolved to protect us from activities that once seemed harmless. Next up, who could forget yo-yo water balls? In the 90s, they seemed like the perfect outdoor toy, squishy, bouncy, and water-filled for extra fun. We loved watching the ball swing back and forth on its stretchy cord, bouncing around in unpredictable ways. It was a must-have, and the fun seemed endless as the balls twisted and turned mid-air. However, as much fun as they were, these toys had a dangerous side. The elastic cords could stretch too far, causing the water-filled ball to snap back with force, resulting in eye injuries. Even more concerning, the string could get tangled around a child's neck, creating a serious choking hazard. The risks became so significant that by the early 2000s, yo-yo water balls were banned due to safety concerns. What was once a popular toy became a reminder of how quickly fun can turn into danger. Today, they're part of the 90s nostalgia, but also a lesson in how toy safety has changed over the years. Now, the 90s were unforgettable, a time when childhood was filled with wild adventures, pushing boundaries, and let's be honest, a complete lack of safety regulations. From road sledding and lawn darts to riding unbuckled in the back of a car, the things we did back then would now be considered reckless or downright illegal. The 90s may be gone, but the fun we had, memories, and lessons remain, reminding us of a time when life felt simpler and more spontaneous. What's one crazy thing you did in the 90s that would never happen today? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, see you soon.